Hi everyone, Dave Bradshaw here, alongside RevPro owner and matchmaker Andy Quildan at the conclusion of what has been an epic West Midlands weekend. We were live in Coventry this afternoon. We've just gone off air from that, but of course yesterday was the Women's Grand Prix as well, so we're going to talk about that as well. So let's start with the main headline maker, I think, this week, and that's the winner of the Women's Grand Prix, who's now the #1 contender for the undisputed British women's title. That is Kangji. What a weekend for her.
Well, first of all, Dave, nice of you to join us. I noticed you were conspicuous by your absence yesterday.
Thank you.
So big shout out to Lucy Simmons, who stepped in for commentary yesterday. She did a great job.
I heard you accidentally called her Dave at one point.
Maybe. Muscle memory. Awkward, isn't it? But yeah. I will say I've got a number on speed dial though, so
Great.
watch
my back.
Watch your back.
Yeah.
Watch your back. We can add it to the list. Lucy Simmons, Tom Campbell.
Great.
All gunning for you. It's like lonely at the top, isn't it?
Kangji.
Kangji, yes, she Kangji. So yeah, look, it's been somewhat of it's a tiring when you do these shows back to back to back. It's kind of tiring. And I can imagine what it's like for the performers. And I said it's a real weird sensation. You know, when you do the two shows in one day. And you've got that gap in the middle and it's an extended period of time in the middle. When you start the next show, you feel drained, you feel tired. It's all those emotions. So when you go to one show and you've got the high of the show when it's over, and then you have that crash afterwards. It's almost like that happens in real time before your very eyes between show one and show two. And that happened to me yesterday. And I can only imagine what it's like for the performers. And I always talk about tournament wrestling and how grueling it can be, but just that mentality of you have your match and then you've got a period, and I never know where the advantage lies. Does the advantage lie in getting your first match done early and having a longer amount of time between matches, or having a shorter amount of time between matches and getting that chance to recover? But when you've got that gap in the middle between shows as well, you're obviously going to have that come down. So what do? Do you try to stay warm? How do you react in these situations? Tournament wrestling is a very fascinating thing to me. And Kangji, look, she overcame all odds. She, trust me when I say she's still wearing the scars of that Iron Fist match against Rio a couple of weeks back in Sheffield. And so I'd say she was going into the tournament with a severe disadvantage to begin with, let alone what she went through throughout the tournament. But I'm going to go on record as saying it's one of the greatest one-night performances from a professional wrestler that I can ever remember. 3 very different matches in one night, 3 very different challenges in one night, and she overcame each and every single one of those. And when I speak about Kangji being world class, it's not me trying to promote her or market her or anything like that. It's because I genuinely mean it. Kangji is world class, and now she has the opportunity of a lifetime. Saturday, August 29th, when she's going to go for that undisputed British Women's Championship against whomever that champion may be. And we have some news regarding that. I don't know if we want it now or do we want it later.
We want it right now.
We want it right now. So listen, the destination of that Women's Championship match, it was supposed to be Alexis Falcon versus Alice Inc. However, unfortunately, Alice Inc. has been injured. She's not going to be medically cleared to compete next week. And when I'm saying the match was done, the flights were booked, everything was ready to go. She was going to challenge whoever won that match yesterday between Alexis Falcon and Lucy Sky, which again, by the way, another fantastic match. As by hook or by crook, Alexis Falcon held on to that championship gold. She's got one more obstacle to go if she's going to walk into Wembley with that undisputed British Women's Championship. And after her performances this weekend, Alexis Falcon's going to go one-on-one with Jessica Troy.
Wow. Okay. That's tough.
Yeah, it's a completely, again, there's some similarities to Alice Inc., but completely different stylistic match for Alexis Falcon. It's also a real opportunity for Jessica Troy, because Jessica Troy, for my money, she was outside of the winner Kangji, Jessica Troy was a standout performer and opened a lot of people's eyes to just how good she is and can be. And I'm very excited to welcome Jessica Troy back next week in London. And I hope that obviously this is the start of many more bookings for Jessica Troy, because this is one of those things, you know, when someone comes in and they smash it in the manner that Jessica Troy did over three, again, very different contests across the weekend, then they will have the invite extended again and again and again. We're about progressing at its best. It's not just a motto, it's what we try to live, and I feel like Jessica Troy personifies that. A very different kind of competitor, and she knows who she is in the ring, and she knows her strengths. She's able to strategize based upon those strengths, and she's proven to be a very, very formidable opponent. And you look at her performances against Emerson Jane and against Corey Zero, again, top level competition. And then you look at her match against Kangji and you feel like if it was against anyone else other than Kangji, Jessica Troy would have got a bit further in that tournament, you know. And listen, the prospect of a Kangji versus Troy rematch is something that I'd be very interested in seeing as well. So whatever way it shakes out, you know, Alexis Falcon versus Jessica Troy this Sunday, live from the Portchester Hall, is going to have huge consequences, huge ramifications when we talk about the Undisputed British Women's Championship in the OVO Arena, Wembley.
It's mind-blowing as well. Talk about the land of opportunity. Jessica Troy 24 hours ago hadn't made her RevPro debut. Now we're at a point where this coming week she could book her ticket to Wembley. I mean, that's wild, isn't it?
That's what it's all about.
Look, we had a lot of international talent debuting in RevPro this weekend as part of the Women's Grand Prix in action today in Coventry. You talked about Jessica Troy, obviously. You talked about Kangji, but who else stood out for you?
Oh man, Shaina Basler. She was
not always in a good way though, because her behaviour towards Kangji was horrendous.
No, again, we talk about Jessica Troy knowing who she is. Shaina Basler knows who she is. She's a killer in the ring. We speak about killer instincts all the time, and she possesses that in spades, or should I say, queen of spades. See what I did there?
Great. How happy you are with yourself.
I know, it's ridiculous, because if you watch back, I was a little smirk coming on my face as I thought of that line. But no, honestly, absolute killer. And you saw her bringing that out of Zoe Serrano. I think Zoe Serrano came into this weekend wanting to do things the right way, maybe. The nice way, you know, the sport, the professional wrestling, sportswomanship. But yeah, a few words from Shaina Basler, and
that's all it took.
Yeah, and Zoe Serrano was transformed, and yeah, you saw her pick up a couple of big victories this weekend. But yeah, the pair of them, yeah, very, very good, very solid in terms of what they do in the ring. You know, look, the fundamentals are just so strong, and the instinct to hurt their opponents, because again, this sounds like a ridiculous thing to talk about when I'm saying the instinct to hurt an opponent, but like, no one really goes into a professional wrestling match wanting to maim their opponent, right? You want to win a professional wrestling match, but I felt the instinct of Shaina Basler and Zoe Serrano was to maim their opponent. And that's what makes them dangerous, and that's what makes them stand out, and that's why they took a lot of headlines. And listen, I'm sure Kangji's got unfinished business with the pair of them. You know, I would say Mila Grace has as well, but Mila Grace's actions tonight.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you about. You're talking about, you know, Zoe Serrano and her change in attitude as the weekend went on. It was an incredibly gracious thing for Mila Grace to do yesterday when she'd won the Alternates 4-way. Looked like she was going to take Kangji's place in the final, but when Kangji said she was able to compete, stepped back. Great. Then was her tag team partner again tonight until she wasn't, left her in the lurch.
Yeah, and that, I don't know what's going through Mila Grace's mind. I've spoken to Kangji briefly. She spoke to us all after the show. She seemed in good spirits, and I think that's a very positive sign for her and a very worrying sign for whomever she faces at the OVO Arena, Wembley, because she seems in a good headspace again. And we saw her lose it against Alexis Falcon. We saw her lose it against Rio, and that cost her. And it also, well, look, let's be honest, it started a whole chain of events which saw Alexis Falcon defeating Mercedes Moné, which saw Alexis Falcon defeating Alex Windsor, which saw Falcon's reign of terror. You know, it started that whole chain of events, that mindset of Kangji, and you saw that friendship of Rio with Rio, that respect between herself and Rio be put under real strain until, you know, 2 weeks ago when they I don't know, maybe they battered some sense into each other. I don't know. It was an absolute war, that Iron Fist match in Sheffield. But Kangji seems to have gone into this weekend with a clear head. She's walked out of it with a clear head, and it's almost like she's not going to turn this business with herself and Mila Grace personal. So
that's the aim.
Well, look, she wants to deal with it in a business manner, and Kanji's business is professional wrestling. So next week at Porchester Hall, we're making the match Kangji versus Mila Grace.
Okay.
You know, she says she's not going to allow it to take any headspace. She wants a one-on-one in the ring, and Mila Grace will have to stand and face the actions. And listen, what's going through Mila Grace's mind, I don't know. She rushed off after the show. She'll fly back to Belfast tonight.
We tried to get reactions with her, by the way, after the show, our team here, but she wouldn't talk to anyone, just stormed out, no comment whatsoever.
Well, there we are. But look, you understand the heartbreak, because she worked very hard, and she won that alternates match. And look, you never really think, if you win an alternates match, you never really think there's going to be an opportunity of stepping in and taking someone's place, and especially stepping straight into the finals. But she was dressed, she was ready to go, she'd gone through all the pre-match prep, her music played, she made her entrance, she was ready to wrestle. All it was left to do was for the bell to ring before the match started and it was official. And she had that ripped away from her, and I feel, though did tell Kangji to go for it, you know, it was very much reluctantly so, but you could understand that at the time. And she obviously said she'd stand up side by side with Kangji tonight. And look, they were working well together to begin with. And then, you know, there was that moment in the match where Kangji had an opportunity to make a tag. And instead of making a tag, she decided to get some more licks in on Shaina Basler, who was doing a good job throughout the contest of pushing Kangji's buttons, and boom, Kangji attacked Basler instead of making the tag. And I think that must have sat in Mila Grace's mind. And she was stood on the side of the apron. And when you're stood on the side of the apron, it's a very interesting place to be, because you've got so many thoughts going through your mind. What am I going to do when I get in the ring? What's happening to my opponent? What can I do to help my opponent? Watching my partner. What can I do to help my partner? You know, you're watching your opponents as well, looking for weaknesses, looking for perhaps stuff you could do to change things up when you get in the ring. It seems that all what was running through Mila's mind was the opportunity that was taken away from her, and the opportunity was taken away from her to get back into the ring and be a part of the action in the main event tonight. So again, look, I'm just probably putting words into Mila's mouth without speaking to her, but that's the way I read the situation.
Doesn't excuse it though, right? You can't leave your partner like that,
especially against two killers like Serrano and Basler. Yeah. You know, so yeah. But look, like I say, like Kangji took it a lot better than I thought she was going to, and because I feel like it's almost like one of those things, like we said, and it's crazy as well when you think about it, because we said for Michael Oku, he was desperate to be in the Wembley main event. He was desperate to have that undisputed British Heavyweight Championship back, and he got all of those things. And it was almost like he's getting so close, but not quite getting his hands on those moments. And we thought it was that led to that him spiraling the way he has done. I think it's fair of me to say that at this stage, right? And I think with Kangji, it was almost like that weight of expectation that she put on her own shoulders when she went against Mercedes Moné. She challenged that undisputed British Women's Championship. And following that contest, she came up short there. She left with her head held high. She made a friend for life with Mercedes Moné. And I think in Kangji's mind, from that point, she felt the pressure to be the next one to hold that undisputed British Women's Championship. She felt the pressure to be the one to dethrone Mercedes Moné. She felt the pressure to put the weight of Revolution Pro Wrestling on her shoulders. And it just didn't come to fruition because of people like Alexis Falcon. And I think that the rivalry with Rio as well, it all started when she lost that match against Rio. And she raked the arm by accident. Well, again, let's not get back into that.
Yeah.
But you know, but that's how it started, right? The almost the frustration, desperation of losing that contest, and then obviously the opportunity to make history in the Revolution Rumble. didn't go the way she wanted because of Rio, and that's the reason why things spiraled there. But now she's got something tangible that she can hold in her hands. She's got that Women's Grand Prix trophy, which entitles her to that undisputed British Women's Championship match at the OVO Arena in Wembley. She knows she's going to be at the biggest match that she possibly can be, at the biggest show in Revolution Pro Wrestling history, and she knows she can let her work do its talking inside the squared circle. And I think she's very confident of that fact. But I think perhaps that full process of that dream match at the OVO Arena, Wembley, slipping away, perhaps a full process of the undisputed British Women's Championship getting further and further and further from her grasp, that's what was causing her to spiral. But she's got that tangible asset in her hands now, and because of that, she can relax and she can focus on what she does best, and that is playing her trade in the middle of a squared circle, bell to bell. Absolute animal. At the second that bell sounds, cool, calm, collected, and I think that's the Kangji that we're seeing going into the OVO Arena, Wembley.
Now, the Kangji may know what her destination looks like when it comes to the road to Wembley. As someone who has made it clear now what they would like their road to Wembley to look like was the youngest in charge, Leon Slater. We saw him in action tonight against HMD from the Slater dojo, just 8 days removed from that huge drama in Bradford at Summer Sizzler. After his victory here this afternoon, Leon grabbed the microphone. It probably wasn't a surprise to anyone to hear him say this, but Leon wants a piece of the man who was his coach, his mentor, Liam Slater, one-on-one at Wembley. Now, I know we've just gone off there, and I'm going to ask you, and you're going to tell me it's too soon to know, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Will we see Leon v. Liam at Wembley?
It's too soon to know, Dave.
Tried.
But no, but look, it's a match I want to see. It's a match that people quite clearly want to see. It's a very intriguing contest because no one knows Leon Slater better than Liam Slater. No one knows Liam Slater better than Leon Slater.
Does Liam want the match? Because it's interesting to me that Liam isn't here today. So we're not surprised Leon wants this match. I guess the only reason there's a question mark over this match is Liam Slater going to say yes? Does Liam Slater honestly want to go one-on-one with Leon?
I think he will have something to say. That's all I've got. But we will talk and we will try and iron it out. And look, I think if I were a betting man, I think we'll make this match happen.
All right. Now, you were talking about Michael Oku, and we are, of course, headed to Porchester Hall this weekend, live in London. Oku was in an impromptu tag team match with the Contenders today as a birthday gift to Isaac Murray. Happy birthday, Isaac. But then afterwards, Oku was mocking the rebound lariat that Conor Mills does. Mills had seen enough, came out, and Oku immediately scarpered. Mills then challenged him to, in Mills' words, stop being a coward, and to go face to face with him in Porchester Hall. Really feels like things are heating up even more, if that's possible, between Oku and Mills as we get closer to Wembley.
Yeah, and look, I can confirm that's going to happen. That's part of the promotional duties that Michael Oku has to undertake as undisputed British heavyweight champion going into that clash with Conor Mills, the main event of Wembley Arena. So, look, I shook my head when I saw Michael Oku running away from Conor Mills, because that's not the Michael Oku we know. Something's gotten into him, and yeah, I get he's got an opportunity to say it to Conor Mills' face next week. It's a very deep and intertwined and somewhat bitter rival. Well, not somewhat, very, very bitter rivalry between the pair. It's seeped in history, in and out of Revolution Pro Wrestling, and it's going to be special when they compete with each other again. But this one feels like it's got a very different edge to it than any of the previous contests. And let's see what they've got to say to one another face to face. This coming Sunday live from the Porchester Hall. The last live in London before the big one at Wembley Arena. There's a lot of wrestling that's still to be done. Okay, of course, look, we're London next weekend, then we're Southampton, then we're at Cardiff. We've got that week off, and then it's time to show the world what we're all about.
All right, now last thing I want to ask you about today, because it was kind of bizarre. We saw JJ Gale get a victory over TK Cooper after Cooper attacked him last week in Bradford. After the match, Cooper was complaining again about the foot under the bottom rope, or whatever it was. He wasn't happy with this week. But then an attack from David Francisco.
Well, look, I think it's a tough break for TK Cooper. I'm gonna say it myself. It might have been slightly fortuitous that his foot was under the bottom rope, but his foot, it seemed to me, was very clearly under the bottom rope. There's no VAR. There's no, the referee can only call what he sees.
That's going to really hurt his conspiracy theorizing if you're saying you're on his side. That's made things difficult for him.
It has. But look, David Francisco then attacked TK Cooper.
Why? I don't get it. I don't understand.
I spoke to David Francisco as he was leaving Coventry just moments ago.
Yeah.
And he was shouting a lot of things inaudibly. And all I heard was, I'm nothing like TK Cooper.
He's a bit like TK Cooper. It would be a shame if those two fought, wouldn't it? Whose side would everyone be on?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But,
I shouldn't look so gleeful.
Yeah, I think if that does happen, I think our backstage comments could turn into War and Peace. I don't know. Like, it could be quite a long one, maybe a feature length.
All right, look, before we go, just got any last chance to give us any more news about what's happening in Portchester Hall this Sunday?
I'm thinking hard, Dave.
To be fair, you've given me a couple of things.
I've given you quite a bit. And listen, all I can say is a few things are happening this week. So tickets for our shows in France will be going on sale this week. We are going to try and announce a new venue this week for an upcoming show towards the end of the year. We're going to try. We are going to... What else are we going to do this week? And ramp up that Wembley promotion.
Hopefully we're going to sell some tickets for Wembley.
Hopefully we're going to sell some tickets. We need to sell more tickets. We need to keep selling. We need to keep pushing. So share that advertising. If you see it, share the advertising. Tell a friend and keep pushing it out. And look, we're trying to do this the best way possible, this isn't going to be something. And again, I just want to be completely straight with people. This is not something where you're going to see last minute discounting on tickets here. Because I feel very strongly that the people that purchased our tickets from day one, it showed a lot of faith in Revolution Pro Wrestling and what we're going to produce. And especially when they came in blind and purchased it, not knowing a single match, just knowing it's Revolution Pro Wrestling taking a huge risk, gamble, etc. And you took the leap of faith with us when you purchased a ticket and made this possible. So it's not a strategy for me to go there and be like, right, we're going to slash the price of all the tickets and whatever have you. So please, if you want to come, please get yourself a ticket. It will certainly ease our nerves somewhat as we go there, and we're absolutely trying everything we can to beat that record. That magic number is 4,072. We're tracking to beat it. When I say tracking, we've got to consistently keep doing what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, and tickets are going, and for that it's very humbling, and I thank everyone watching who's purchased a ticket. But we can do more, we can push more, we can push that little bit further, because like I say, the reality of the situation is, bell to bell, pound for pound, this is the best wrestling in the world, right? I've got blind faith in our product. I really do. I genuinely believe in it, and I think that if I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't be putting myself through all this trauma week in, week out, right? The nights are getting later and later, getting back, and look, we set off yesterday for the Women's Grand Prix. We set off at 5 a.m. and haven't stopped since. Got back to, unfortunately, we were in a hotel last night, which got back to, it was after midnight, back to a hotel, and then we were here for 11 a.m. this morning for the setup for today's show. It's going to be go home tonight, probably get back 2-3 in the morning tonight, and then wake up on Monday and we go in hard on that promotion. Obviously, we've got to clean up everything from this weekend. There's a lot to analyze from the Women's Grand Prix, and then kind of the format moving forward, and we have to look at the promotional side of things for our rest of our upcoming schedule. We've got so much to do. Like, honestly, I can't even begin to explain to you the amount of stuff we've got to do, but it's worth it. It's worth every second of it, because we are creating something very, very special, and we're creating moments week in and week out, and we're going to keep doing everything we can to keep creating those moments. And the biggest one of them all is coming on Saturday, August 29th. And like I say, I feel like I've sat here week in, week out, and I feel like if not listening to my words and hearing my belief and confidence in our talent and what we're going to produce, and And realistically, look, the difference you make by coming to this show, because this isn't just a show for us. This is about the future. This is about building for the future. This is about continuing to build. I feel we've built very solid foundations. We want to make those foundations bigger and stronger, and we want to continue to build, and we want to continue to deliver, and continue to keep good on all our promises that we've been saying since day one. And like I say, like if you listen to everything I say and you're just like, meh, then maybe it's not for you. But like, honestly, like I hope you just understand how genuine and true those words are, because this is a big one. We got 4 weeks and change, I guess. So it's 5 weeks yesterday.
34 days.
34 days.
Is that encouraging or terrifying?
It's a little bit through column A and a little bit through column B. But yeah, it's yeah. We can do this. We will do this, and yeah, it's an exciting, scary, tiring, all the emotions time. Just get all the emojis up on WhatsApp, and that describes exactly what's going through my mind on a day-to-day basis. But we're making it happen.
Do you think in emojis?
Often, yeah.
All right, well, look, 34 days to Wembley. It's only 7 days till we're back at Portchester.
My answer to that, by the way, was a little monkey emoji going like that.
So I'm going to let you go. Andy, we'll see you live in London next Sunday. Thanks as ever for joining me here. Thanks to you guys for watching. We'll see you next week in London.